D.C. Tight security for presidential certification.
All black fencing surrounds the Capitol.
Hollywood's Golden Globe.
This is the first time I've ever won anything.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, a band of snow stretches from the nation's midsection into the east. CBS's Rob Marciano reports at least 8 states have declared states of emergency.
Overnight, a relentless snow already starting to bury streets in the east, like at our nation's capital, where the mayor declared a snow emergency. By Monday night, the D.C. area is expected to get the most snow it's had in 6 years, along with dropping temperatures.
Between the snow and the cold, these are life-threatening conditions.
The winter storm already pummeled much of the Midwest over the weekend, with heavy ice up to a half-inch thick in Missouri, weighing down trees and power lines.
Correspondent Chris Van Cleve has more on how the weather has impacted travelers.
It's going to be a challenging day for flyers, delays, and cancellations. Drivers in much of the country won't be easy either. Now, this came just as many people were making their way home from the record-breaking holiday travel season. The airlines now faced with their first big test of 2025. More than 1,300 flights already canceled for today. Travel waivers are up so people can make changes. And where it isn't snowing, like here in Chicago, you have sub-freezing temperatures. That'll be the challenge here today.
Later today, Congress will officially certify the results of November's election. 4 years after Donald Trump's denials over his defeats were followed by an attack on the Capitol. Here's CBS's Scott McFarland.
4 years to the day after a riotous mob of Trump supporters marauded through the Capitol, trying to stop the electoral certification of President Joe Biden, lawmakers will gather again today at a complex surrounded by 8-foot metal fencing to certify Donald Trump's victory. Washington, D.C. police officer Daniel Hodges, who was beaten in a doorway during the riot, has been invited to attend today by Democratic Senator Adam Schiff.
It would be my honor to make it as uncomfortable as possible for the GOP members to try to whitewash that day and lie about what happened and pretend that we didn't save them.
Trump has pledged pardons for the rioters, but he's yet to specify if it'll be all or just some.
President Biden goes to New Orleans today as authorities release new information about the ISIS-inspired attacker Shamsuddin Jabbar, who rammed a pickup truck into a crowd there, killing 14. The FBI's Lionel Murtha.
Jabbar traveled to Cairo, Egypt from June 22nd until July 3rd of 2023. A few days later, he flew to Ontario, Canada. Our agents are getting answers as to where he went, who he met with, and how those trips may or may not tie into his actions here in our city in New Orleans.
Surveillance video showed Jabbar moving 2 coolers loaded with explosives before the attack. The FBI's Joshua Jackson.
He didn't use the correct device to set it off, and that is just indicative of his inexperience and lack of understanding.
It's a week of tributes for the nation's 39th president.
I'm Jim Crusoe in Atlanta. To a person, those paying respects to former President Jimmy Carter, as his flag-draped casket lies in repose at the Carter Presidential Center, speak of enormous respect for him.
He cared about people who had no voice. He cared about justice and equity. It was so wonderful to be able to witness someone that was so giving.
He did a lot for diplomatic work. He did a lot for humanity.
We adore President Carter and all that he has done.
Mr. Carter's body will leave the Carter Center tomorrow morning and be flown in a special Air Force mission to Washington, D.C. for memorial events, including an official state funeral Thursday. Jim Crusoe, CBS News, Atlanta.
Reports from Canada indicate Prime Minister Justin Trudeau could resign as soon as today as he faces mounting opposition inside his own Liberal Party. And from the Vatican, Pope Francis has named Cardinal Robert McElroy of San Diego as the Archbishop of Washington, D.C. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. It's 51 degrees in Foster City, California.